Happy New Year, Scrafters. It is 2022. This is one of our round 3 games, one of our round 3 matchups. So these two playing off for a place in round 4, which will be, around a 5, but at this point it's beginning to look like it's going to be around a 4. We will see. What's happening here? This is Kupermeister, of course, playing Iizard in the top left, and this is Iizard opening with the low ground pylon, which against Zerg, it's a pretty big map. I don't mind it. I quite like it. In fact, I quite like it. I pretty much always like a low ground pylon. Why not? Interested to see what these two are going to crack. Obviously, we're at round 3. If you've got this far, you know what you're doing. I'm not expecting these players to be doing stupid stuff. We're not going to see some sort of weird triple pylon into gas. That's not what's going to be happening here. So you would certainly expect that the openings of these two players are going to be pretty reasonable, pretty sensible. Here we can see a very standard hatchery gas pull. That's just cost you an extra 15 minerals because all 3 of the workers that were transferred into that were carrying minerals. I think that's painful. Anyway, but what I'm saying is we don't expect to see any sort of major travesties in the early part of this game. No just instant losses because of a foolish or a very poor build order. This is a decent wall. The Zealot is going to come out and is going to finish blocking this off. And at 2.5 minutes, that's fine. If the links show up or something, the Zealot will come out and can fight them off. Now that the Zealot's out, if lings arrive, the Zealot can stop them getting in. They can still be annoying. They can start to nibble the pylon, and you've got to be careful to block this with a worker and get the Zealot out to fight them. The Stargate is right at the front, and so Kupermeister has seen that this Stargate is here. So the standard response, Kupermeister, would be to you go ahead and you build an extra couple of queens, but you also drop a spore in each of your mineral lines, and that's just going to keep you safe from the inevitable Oracle, which is about to come out. Oracles, typically, you get less done with an Oracle against Zerg because the queens are there. There's always a queen near the mineral line, and the queen can kind of put a lot of hurt on the Oracle. So you can kind of run the workers about, forcing your opponent to either micro very hard or just let the... it's going to be a lot of Oracles though. That is interesting. Once you get up to sort of 3 oracles, they can focus down a queen pretty quickly. Now, queens are armored, I'm pretty sure, and so they don't die. The spells that oracles cast are really good at killing light units, very good at killing workers. But what you can do is, there's various tricks. One of them is to build a single phoenix, and the phoenix lifts the queen, and then the oracles shoot down the workers. If you've got 2 oracles, they one-shot workers so quickly. What you want to do with them is bring them in, hit C, and holding the shift button, just right-click the workers one after the other, so that both of your oracles are focusing the same worker. And if you do that, they'll kill them very, very quickly indeed. So it's double robo. Right here from Iizard. Nothing coming out of those robos though, and these oracles at home is a little disappointing because these could really be doing damage in this mineral line. 3 oracles could plow through an awful lot of workers very quickly. There's going to be a spire coming out, and since you haven't seen any Phoenix yet, I don't mind the spire build. If you'd seen Phoenix, I still don't mind actually throwing down the spire. What you don't want to build is Mutalisks against Phoenix. Phoenix are the hard counter to Mutas. Needs a bit of worker adjustment here. Look, we've got oversaturation, undersaturation, under. And more importantly, Iizard just needs to move his stuff out onto the map. These oracles achieve nothing at home. Is this guy trapped? I don't think he is. So I'd like to see these units in a more forward position, ready to defend down here, those types of things. Lizard on 3 bases with Cooper just dropping the 4th, and that's going to be up shortly. So both of these players reasonably on track. Small number of mutants just going to fly out onto the map here. Not quite enough to be a serious threat. You need a few more than that. Ideally, I'd just say double that. Gets to the point where when they fire, the splash damage that they do, the rebound is also killing workers. And if you get to that point, you find that you can eat through workers very quickly indeed. So you can see how quickly that mineral line goes down with what are we up to now? It is about it is. And then sensibly runs away. That is exactly what to do with your Mutalisks. Fly in, decimate a mineral line and run. Don't try and stand and fight. Don't, because mutants just aren't good at fighting. These, I have a feeling Lizard is F2 there, although I don't know what these guys are doing here. These immortals are kind of bothering me, but I'm not sure what they're there to counter. You know, so far you know your opponent's got some mutas. Is there additional information that you've got? Let's have a look. Hasn't seen, okay, has seen the Spire actually. But that's all there is. Oh, Roach Warren has not seen a Roach Warren. So, you know, unless the Zerg is going roaches, obviously Immortals are really good against Ultralisks as well. They add a lot of punch to armored units on the ground, but aside from that, they're not good against Lings, and obviously they don't shoot up. They're useless against Mutalisks. So Muta's going to come in. With only 2 Void Rays there, I'd have been tempted to stand and fight. Void Rays, not great against Mutalisks, and the Mutas still have that splash damage, so with a big enough number advantage, Lizard certainly could have killed the 2 Void Rays and got away without losing a Muta. And of course they heal up, so Mutas heal reasonably quickly. So I wouldn't have minded just hanging around for the quick snipe there, but obviously be prepared to run if anything else shows up. So Lizard with this additional base coming down, and it's about time. There are a lot of Corruptors on the map, a lot, and Corruptors do well against well, most flying units. Now, if you're oh no, this is a lot of Void Rays, however, and the Void Rays with that prismatic alignment actually will trade pretty well against the Corruptors. So, you know, Kupermeister, you need some Hydras under this as well. Corrosive Balls could be great here, and they do land. No dodge from Lizard, just these Corrosive Balls coming down on top of all this stuff. And as a result, the additional splash damage of that, Cooper does very, very well, but he doesn't have much left on the ground. What he needs right now is a big flood of Lings, because the stuff on the ground is Immortal Stalker, which are quite good against roaches, terrible against Lings. So there's roaches, there are now 64 Lings in production, and that will more than clean this up. The Lings, what you need to do is just run on past, get the surround, make sure that nothing is going to escape, and clean this up pretty handily. And Kupermeister takes a huge army advantage. Now, a lot of it is tied up in these Corruptors. This is a shame. These are going to get caught on the map, and that is an expensive mistake. So there's no shield batteries here, no shield batteries at all. So this couple of Void Rays are going to die awfully quickly indeed. It looks like Lizard beginning to fall apart a little bit. These Corruptors, don't forget that they can sort of vomit or whatever it is they do to kill buildings. They can kill buildings, they can't attack ground units. Here we go, I can't remember what it's called. Is it Corrosive Bile or something like that? Or no, Caustic. Corrosive Bile is the one Ravagers do. Caustic Spray, I think. Anyway, they chunder on buildings and they muck it up. In these battles, though, the Corruptors aren't actually completely useless, because they can absorb fire, and you know, it takes Stalkers a long time to kill them. But you know, you're better just flooding Lings from here. Has he got a Hive? I think he has, so he can turn these into Broodlords in due course, but it looks like he's just going to settle for taking out all of the Nexuses. That Immortal was shooting the other one, I don't know why. That Nexus goes down pretty sharpish. There isn't much left for Lizard, and he doesn't have enough bank to rebuild, so it is GG. That fight in the end looked more one-sided than I thought it was going to be honest. But there wasn't a great deal on the ground for the Zerg, but what there was Ravagers, and of course they're doing that splash damage. There was no splash damage available from the Protoss, and Archons could have made a huge difference to that, doing splash in the air against those Corruptors as well. Anyway, it is Kupermeister that goes 1 up. GG.